Now see, when I run this particular Java file as a test-ng test, so what is happening? First my this one is running, the second, then third. Means it is running in a sequential order, the order which is set by default. But I want to run this one first. Let's say for example, my particular @test containing this function should run first, then this, then this. Now what is happening? It is running in the default order which is set by the test engine, but I want to alter the order and make it run as per my convenience, as per my priority which I want to set the tests. Okay. So for that, what I can do is I can assign a priority argument. So now what will happen? First this will run, then this will run, then this will run. So I have assigned priority to the test @test, so it will run according to the priority I have assigned to them rather than the default sequence of execution. Okay, let's run it and check it out. See what happened. Test2 first ran because I have set its priority as 1, then I have set priority as 2, so test3 ran, then priority 3, so test1 ran. Okay, let's say for example I have set priority for some of the @test and I haven't set priority from some of the @test, then what will happen? Let's check out that scenario also. Let's say for example I have another @test which I don't assign any priority to it. Then what will be the sequence of execution? Let me run. See what is the sequence of execution. So see, the one which I haven't assigned ran fast, then the @test which I have assigned priority ran. So what you got from this execution is that the @test which are not assigned any priority will run by the test ng with a default sequence. Then it will go to the @test which are assigned with priority, and that will be run according to the priority assigned to them. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's say for example there is a test case. Let's say for example in up2 only. Let's say for example I have this test case which depend on this test case. Let's say for example in this test case I am creating a order number, and in this test case I am using that order number to validate some like order number is correct or not, or order number is present in the database or not. Let's say for example this is the particular test case which produce the order number once the order is placed, and this particular test case uses that particular order number which is created in this test case to check it in the database that it is present or not. So what is happening here is this @test is depending on this @test. So if this @test fails and the order number is not created, then this particular @test is no point is there to execute this particular @test. It is just increase the time of execution with no result. So I want to confirm that in the code, if this particular @test runs, then only you run this particular @test. If this doesn't passes out, don't run this, because if it doesn't create a new order number, I'll not be able to validate it in the database. So what's the point of running this particular @test? It will fail by default. So my time will be wasted with no result. So I just want to hook up this @test with this @test, so that this particular @test doesn't run if this particular @test is not passed. Okay.
Okay.
See, I am just forcingly using assert method to fail it. We'll learn it later classes, in later classes. Okay. You can check it out here. Once I run, see in console, see failed function 1 means this particular function failed. Now I have a not hooked up, so this function 2 is executing, but now I will use the method. If this particular function 1 fails, this will not get executed. So for that we'll be using a argument See, now you saw this particular function 2 got executed, because but now you'll see that this will not get executed, because now it's depending on function 1. As function 1 is failing, so this will not get executed. You'll see only two text cases will get executed, function 1 and function 3 now. See, only function and function 3 got executed, but function 2 doesn't get executed because it is depending on function 1's result. If it get passed this only, then only it will run. Now you will be having an idea, like till now we are only seeing that we are having only past test cases. Now see, I am having past test cases, that is for function 3, failed test cases, that is for function 1, and skipped test cases, that is function 2. So you got an idea how a test case will skip, how a test case will fail, and how a test case will pass. That we are seeing till now. All test cases were passing. Now test case failed also, test case skipped also. Skipped means that test case is present but it didn't run totally during the course of execution. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, please. Okay, now see, let's say for example, I want to run this particular test, means this particular test 5 times. So I have to write this test 5 times. No, I have one testng argument which I can use it to do my job. That is invocation count is equal to 5. Let's say I'm giving it 5. So this particular test case will run 5 times for me. See, see, this particular test case ran 5 times for me because I have used the argument invocation count as 5. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how many tests I have? I have 3 tests here. I have 3 tests, 4 tests here. So let's see how to do parallel execution using TestNG. Okay. See, while creating the TestNG, there is an option parallel mode. If I do parallel mode as test, okay, so what will happen? All the @test will run parallelly. This is the feature of TestNG which provide me parallel execution, and I have to give thread count. As my thread total @test is 7, I should give thread count as 7 or more. I shouldn't give thread count as less than 7. Even I give 7, it will work, but it will not serve my purpose of parallel execution. Okay. Finish. Okay. See, so what you will be seeing is that here I will be having parallel executions with thread count 7, means all the is present in the suite, like all the is present in the suite, like these 4 test and these 3 test are present in my suite. So all 3 will be assigned a different thread so that they will be running simultaneously. Earlier what was happening, I have to run all the tests at the in a single thread. Earlier my all the test was running in a single thread. So once one thread got over with its execution, then the next did the execution, then the next did the execution. So only a single thread was assigned and everyone was running one by one. But here, let's say for example 5 millisecond was required for one test. So one thread was assigned and I have 7 tests test. So it took 7 into 5, that is 35 millisecond to run all the tests. But now what is happening, as I have assigned 7 different threads for 7 different test. So here what it will do, it will assign each test one thread, and my execution time will be 5 millisecond instead of 35 millisecond, because everyone is running independently in one single thread. Okay. So if I am doing parallel execution, I need to provide that much thread which is more or equivalent to number of tests present. If I would have provided, let's say for example 6 thread, so what would have happened? My out of 7 test, 6 would have been provided 6 thread, and 1 thread would have waited for for another test to get over, and it would have run in that thread. So here my execution count would have been how much? 5 plus 5, 10 millisecond. Just for one single thread, my more 5 millisecond is getting executed, and my total time is 10 millisecond. But I want, if I want parallel execution, why should I just do it? I should provide the number of thread which is equivalent or more than test present, so that my total execution time will be 5 millisecond. Okay. Let's run this suite. See, in real scenario, you cannot catch the difference. But what here happened is, I ran my code in parallel execution and every test got executed in different threads. Let's say, for example, to make you more clear what is parallel execution. Let's see, earlier I have 7 tests. So all of them are running in one thread. Let's say, for example, one test takes takes 5 milliseconds. So as earlier it was running in one thread, so total time taken was 7 into 5, that was 35 milliseconds. But now as I am assigning 7 threads to 7 tests, so each test is running in one thread. So like test 1 got run in thread 1. Total time is 5 millisecond. Okay. Similarly, Control C. Test 2 got executed in thread 2. Total time 5 millisecond. So up to thread 7, everyone got executed in a single thread simultaneously. So now my total time of execution is 5 millisecond, which was earlier 35 millisecond. So here I saved a huge amount of execution time. 7 times time I am saving. So in real scenario, let's say for example, you will be having 2000 test cases or 1000 test cases to run. You will be saving 1000 less time than the normal time which is needed during non-parallel execution. Okay. So got my point? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is parallel execution using TestNG. Now let's see grouping. Let's say for example, I have 1000 regression test cases in my suite, but out of that 1000 regression test cases, while I am doing smoke execution, there will be max to max 10 to 15 test cases out of that 1000 test cases, which will be used for smoke execution, smoke testing. Okay, so you know what is smoke testing? Smoke testing are the measured test cases which checks the measure functionality of the application. It is just used by the developer end to make sure that the build build designed by them is all right. Means that is a, you can say, pre-check before deploying the build in the server. Okay, smoke testing. So for smoke testing, you will be using max to max 10 to 15 test cases from all those 1000 test cases which I have designed. So for that case, what I can do is I can assign the @test which are smoke test. I can assign that smoke test, and during my smoke execution, I will be running only those @test. Let's say for example, from this total test present, my this test is smoke test and this test is smoke test. I just want to run only these two test during smoke testing. So how I will do? I'll just assign an argument group is equal to smoke, group is equal to smoke, and in testng.xml what I'll be doing is Now see what I have instructed the in my testng.xml is that you just run those at the rate test which have tag with group is equal to smoke. Now you will be seeing that my this particular test and this particular test will run and all other will not be executed. Let's check it out. See, only this one I am test for class 1, that one got executed, and I am test 1 of class 2, that one got executed. So this is how we'll be doing grouping of test cases for smoke testing and other testing as per our convenience. Okay.
Sir, we need to only. Can you please go for the testing.xml file?
Okay.
So, sir, here, if we provide that groups and run all those things inside that classes file, so it will not run.
No, no, this is the syntax how you have to write. You have to write under a soup tag and above a test tag.
Okay. Okay, sir, got it.
Yes. Okay. So now let's say for example, I want to use parameter from the testng.xml inside my test. So what I will be doing? Okay. I can define parameter here. Okay. Now I'll be using these parameter username and password in my test classes to use its value, that is admin and manager. Let's say for example this one. Okay. Okay. Now see what will happen is, just a minute. Okay, password. Now see what will happen is, these parameter which I've defined in testng.xml, its value will be retrieved in my test class. That means username and password. This username and password will be storing admin and manager as its respective value inside it, which can be used in my @test class. Okay. So here I have used parameters with username and password as the attribute value and its value as admin and manager respectively. So what I'll be doing, if I want to use parameter inside my test class, I'll be defining a annotation at the red parameter and using username and password which I have defined as attribute variable in the testng.xml class. So from that one I have defined it, I can use this username and password value inside my @test class. So see, I have used the username or password value and printed it here. So you see here in console, my admin and manager got printed, whose value was retrieved from this testng.xml class. Okay. So this is how you can parameterize a value from XML suite and can use it in the test class of the testng. Got my point?